I'm Sam, and this is the Knit Ritz podcast.
Okay, so actually, first let's do some check-ins. So, okay, let's start with writing check-ins since it's a reading topic. Did you write?
I did write.
Oh, okay. How much
Out
did you
of
write?
order.
Whoa! Oh, you wrote the scene you've been wanting to write,
Yes.
dude.
So I wrote 980 words. And
Nice.
so I've been replaying. So the midpoint of my book is the Valley of Vision. And this is the scene that is sort of the like relationship shift, revealing of emotion stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been replaying this conversation over and over in my head. So I have the beginning part of the conversation. I have the like main points I want to make. I haven't quite figured out kind of the order of that. And then I know kind of where I want it to go. And I haven't figured out the leap from like this conversation into the feelings. And I think part of that is because I haven't written all of the lead up and build up of these feelings. So I'm kind of imagining these relationships and these connections before I've really like done the work of writing all of the relationship build up. So it's choppy, and I haven't written any part of the conversation yet. I wrote all of the lead up to the conversation. So it's
Nice.
they're at an inn, and it's kind of, they've gone through the Valley of Vision and it's really kind of fucked them up.
Yeah.
And so they're all kind of eating together, and Gideon storms off. He's like he hits his time in the Valley of Vision was very rough. I know what that looks like. Like I haven't experienced the Valley of Vision, but I mean, I know kind of, I have already imagined what he sees during that time. So he storms off, and then there's a conversation between Genevieve, Rin, and Cormac of kind of a little bit of their experience. Cormac seems completely unscathed by the Valley, and so Genevieve's a little bit like, bro, you walked out of it like it was nothing. And so he's kind of like, the secret is this. And then at some point she, instead of going to the room that her and Gideon share, immediately they tell him like, give Gideon a minute, like he'll be fine, but like give him a second. And so she goes and bathes in Ren's room without Ren there. He's like, here, you can use my room, like it's fine. And then she goes from Ren's room back into her room that she's supposed to share with Gideon. And then the conversation is supposed to take off from there. So I've gotten to the point where she's in the room and she is in her night clothing and Gideon is still in the bathing chamber. And then she realizes there's like no washing sound. She can't hear like water moving or anything. So then she's worried that like something happened and she's going to bust in on him in the bathtub. And it's not going to be as cute as other bathtub sharing scenes. Nice. Yeah, he's not gonna purr like a kitty cat like Rowan did. But yeah, and then I'm trying to think of some. I have too many elements, right? I'm trying to think of like what foreshadowing to put in, blah blah. And at this point, I just need to like kind of step away for a second and be like, just put the words on the page, and like you can put foreshadowing in later, but like I need to get this conversation that has just been like obsessively replaying in my head for weeks on end. I just need to get it on paper. But but I can't just write the conversation. I have to write all the lead up too, because that's how my brain works. So I was like, oh, we're going to start the chapter. But yeah, so it's I did write almost 1,000 words, and I feel like I've pulled myself a little bit out of the writing slump I was in, and I'm excited. And so I just wrote it in like kind of a separate tab, and I'll put it in to the
pull it in later.
Put it in when it's ready to fit in the story.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, yes.
How about you? Well, you've also been, you've been working like crazy, so.
Whew, yeah, so now I got my big push is over. Now I've got a small push, and then hopefully I can do that and have a break, but we'll see. But I did read a good amount.
Nice.
What have I read since we last talked? I don't. Yeah. So, well, okay. I read. I don't remember. I don't remember when I finished stuff. I finished Red Rising.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through the second book. The second book is I've heard that it's boring, or people say it's the same thing. If people are saying it's the same thing over again, they're stupid. That's insane. It'd be there's some structural repetition, but in a way that's like it makes it interestingly more complex and actually comments on it.
Okay.
I don't like I've heard a little bit of commentary on this book, but for right now it's so fast. I probably read like 150 pages in a single sitting when I didn't mean to. Like between 2
Yeah.
and 5 a.m. I was like, I definitely trying to go to sleep, but like
Yeah.
I just can't really put this down, which is kind of crazy. But that's kind of what I kind of look for in a book. The thing that will make me rate it like 5 stars is if I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm
Hmm.
basically looking for is some entertainment, some just like a hyper fixation. So the check, yeah, I don't know what people are on if they don't like that book. I think the first book is harder to get into.
Yeah.
But this is just like is yeah, but it's really good. And then
I know you read the first Broken Kingdoms book. Yeah.
yes.
So what is it? Curse of Shadows and Thorns, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I
I
read that so fast.
because I have it right here.
Yeah, I should have grabbed that.
That's okay. I got it.
Grab it real quick. Okay.
Sure.
Um Yeah. So yeah, I read that book. That also okay. Like I don't remember. Maybe we talked about like off podcast. Anyway, I didn't expect. So I read it because you said it. But if you had told me, this is also why I don't read the backs of books
Uh-huh.
because I would never read this book based on the back. I don't
Yeah.
even read the back still. But I just know like if you had said it's a princess story about blah blah, like no, I don't want to. No, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. It sounds stupid. I am so much better when you don't tell me shit about it, and I just go like I read Dune
Hmm.
not knowing it was sci-fi. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
I
just and
think
I
you read Red Rising thinking it was romantasy.
yeah, I
You're
thought it
like,
was just
what
regular
is this?
fantasy. I didn't realize it was sci-fi, like super
Yeah.
sci-fi. It doesn't feel like it though. It is very like it just feels like a good story.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I prefer that because nothing ever sounds good. If you tell me about it, I'm
Hmm.
like, that sounds stupid. But there's just something wrong with me. So yeah, I read that book and I was like, okay, it's princesses, it's courts, but I just flew through it and I read it probably
Yeah.
like in a day or so or day and a half.
Yeah.
And it was cute, even though I think I don't remember if I've said this about another book, but like it was the kind of book where like I could guess the ending and pretty much be right. There's still some turns and stuff,
Hmm.
but not that all reading should be about trying to guess it or not guess it, but that's kind of how I treat reading a lot of times. I
Hmm.
like to be really genuinely surprised by the ending. Um and so like I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised with the way it
Yeah.
came about,
Yeah.
and also but it was just like still satisfying to read,
Hmm.
whereas a lot of times if I can guess it it's like ugh, why, but like it was still good, like yeah.
There are, and I'm kind of coming up with this analogy on the fly, but
It's
I feel
okay.
like there's certain books that are very much like gourmet meals, right? You don't know what to
Mhm.
expect. Or you kind of know, like, like I know I'm going to this type of restaurant and I'm going to have this fancy meal and it's
Mhm.
whatever.
It's a
And
romance, so
things
something's
go,
gonna
yeah,
they're gonna
yeah,
be
yeah. And
together.
but things surprise you along the way and it's rich and it's blah 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 and it's
Mhm.
kind of expensive, right? And like it kind of feeds into all these like new exciting
Yeah,
treat stuff. And then there's stories that are kind of like the mac and cheese where you're like, I've had a
I
million
get it.
different kinds of mac and cheese. I really am not in the mood for mac and cheese. If you tell me mac and cheese is for dinner, I'm going to be like, I mean, I got to eat, I guess. But like no
Mhm.
one, me specifically, is, or like, sort of spaghetti, right? Like no one's
Mhm.
running out the streets.
Like I have to get my
like
hands on
for-
some spaghetti.
right, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a treat. Sometimes it's a little comforty sometimes,
Yeah,
and then there's ways where like even so then you're like, okay, here's this comfort food that I know fine. um
but then
and
you take
some
a bite and you're like, oh, this is why I fucking love this shit.
yes, because there's sometimes where you're like, this is not my kind of comfort food, like where you're like, this is somebody else's style of mac
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
cheese and I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, yep, they dropped the ball and they didn't do the thing. um but that book specifically is so just like kind of comfort food,
Yeah.
and it's in a way that is satisfying and isn't necessarily like, there's not, nobody's nobody put like, I don't know, onions in their mac and cheese or anything to like ruin it or surprise you. You're like, yeah, no, I know what was in it, but it's good. And then the thing that I do like though is that the more that you read, the more that it takes on.
Okay, it becomes a whole other
It
thing.
becomes something bigger than just this, like, oh, this nice little comfort sort of bowl of something.
Yeah.
And it becomes much more complex and kind of gets you to a gourmet meal in a way that you didn't expect.
Yeah, which I'm
Um,
here for. And
yeah,
I could see
and
how it could do that, like, because it's a lot has been established. Um,
yes, and yeah, it's just there's overlap and
mhm,
yeah, it's just like, and she builds a really interesting world that has uniqueness within it, right? There's some spaces
mhm,
where like each kingdom kind of has their own kind of, flavor palette. Um,
mhm.
but it works well together. So I
Yeah, I have the next one.
downloaded
I just haven't read it yet.
I downloaded her so I have the audiobook, The Broken Souls. Now I'm gonna be like the worst person ever and not know it off the top of my head. But
Oh, yeah, you never remember the titles, huh?
yeah, yeah, because I audiobook and Kindle. The Broken Souls and Bones series. So the second one comes out in March, and that is the completion duology, I do believe,
From her?
from her. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's a
nice.
different series,
Yeah.
but I think that she's gonna SJM it, and there might be some overlap because I know that there is a book that's
There's some
coming out of a
openings.
series of novellas that covers backstories from characters from both the Everseas and the Broken
Mm.
Souls and Bone series. So I'm wondering if there's some overlap or if it's just like a my editor let me, because she writes. She's the Hamilton of romantasy. She just writes
She
like she's
writes
running
so
out of
well.
time.
I didn't
Um,
realize her first this book came out. Is that her first book?
I don't
I
know if it's her first
suppose.
book, but I
Oh, okay.
mean
Because
the
it came what, 22? And then the rest all 9 books came out since then?
21, yeah, is the copyright date for the
21?
first one.
Okay.
So there's 9 books in the Broken Kingdom series. There's 3 published book in the Everseas with the 4th one on its way, plus a first book in this other series, plus the second one that's coming out in March, and the novella compilation, plus her website. I've told you,
She
every
has
one
the
of the
extra chapters.
extra bonus chapters, and not just like a bonus chapter. There's 3 or 4 bonus chapters for every
Ooh.
single book that she has, and I'm like, ma'am.
She's like 3 or 4 or 5 books a year.
Yes,
Like
yes, it's wild. It's
oh
amazing.
my god.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, so she is she's on my Mount Rushmore of authors and people that I'll read because I just love it's that space where I'm like, I kind of have an idea of what I'm getting into, but it's a little bit surprising and it's just so satisfying every time. Yeah.
yeah. Dude, okay, I'm excited to read the rest. And yeah, I mean it's got cool lore and that's kind of I like yeah, some just interesting lore and I do think a lot of things I can't remember. There's probably like one or two things that I was oh, there was a way. See, I don't remember now, which means it wasn't that bad. There was a couple writing complaints I had. I
Mhm.
think just about I don't remember. So I'm gonna say it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because, I could bitch about the Crescent City Exposition for 100,000
Yeah.
years. I remember all my
Yeah.
critiques and
Mhm.
blah, 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 and now I'm like, I don't really remember what I hate what would I didn't hate it. It was just like there was a one thing
Yeah.
that I was like, "Come on, are we do" it was like something um, like a metaphor was really on the nose
Got
or
it.
something like that. It was towards the end.
Yeah, but if you're having to like nitpick lines as opposed to
Yeah. Well, it
general
was
being
like
like,
the
I don't
impression
like.
of a metaphor was like a connective thread, so it
Yeah.
wasn't just like a single line. It was like
Yeah.
the implication of something.
Got it.
Like I said, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
small
There
thing.
is there's some serious love for Elise and Valen over here, and by book 3 you're just like there's just goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
Okay,
they're
I'm
already
excited.
goals, but by book 3 they're goals.
Now that things are winding down a bit, I'm gonna finish Red Rising trilogy at least. I think there's 2 extra books in that. I don't know. I think I'll finish those first and then I'll read the next one of that. And I still need to read Children of Fallen Gods. Um,
Yeah. I
That is like next on my list, but it's probably after those.
I am still trudging through Empire of Storms. Um
Okay.
and I think most of it is that
You've already
might
read
need
it.
I have already read it,
So
and
it's not like
like
I have to reread it, you know.
yeah, and I'm like annotating as I go and sort of reading it in a different way than I would just be consuming literature. I also have been going back and forth between reading and binge watching a particular show, and now that particular show is starting to get really boring for me. So I am
You're like
less
reading more.
yeah. So I'm like, when we're done here, if I'm not exhausted from the day that I had, I might go and read a little bit. But I'm also trying not to stay up until 3 a.m. And so I'm just trying to manage that, because if I start reading, I will just be in it. And so I'm like
I've been
trying to
staying up
find,
till 5 a.m. a lot.
yeah. So there's a couple of times where I'm like, I'm just gonna not read so that I actually sleep, even though I really want to, because I don't know how to stop once I am started, because I have
Mhm.
ADHD, and I
Yeah.
just want to live in that world for a little bit longer. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so it was nice. It was nice writing this last week, though. I was like,
That's
yes,
awesome. I'm gonna try to jump into. Okay, I know it's annoying, but I think I'm gonna attempt to write. I think maybe I said this before. I think I'm gonna attempt to write a practice novel. I'm gonna
oh
take a
yeah,
story. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna plan it out, not like lore and stuff like that. Just like these are the events that will happen, and then I'm not gonna care about the fact that it's unoriginal or boring. And I'm just gonna write like I'm just gonna write some shit, and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do
Just
something like
to
that.
just
Maybe
flex
like
the
a Greek
muscle.
retelling for fun.
That would be fun.
Um, because yeah, I don't really know the Greek stuff that well.
There
Like
is
or I don't I like I can never remember myths that well. I remember like that's the one about this and that's it, you know, and barely. Probably a lot of people are like that though.
I think it's Apollo. Um, so if I were to write a Greek retelling, I think, yeah, it would be Eros and Psyche would be the book that I would rewrite, would be the story that I rewrite. So it is
Boner and brain.
yes. Um Eros is Hera's son, and Psyche is this very beautiful girl, obviously, and Hera's got her issues. I do believe it's Hera, it's not Aphrodite. Sorry, it's Aphrodite.
Yeah.
She got her jealous streak or whatever. And so she sends Eros to kill Psyche, and instead he falls in love with her. Um, and there's a prophecy how she's going to marry a monster and he will destroy her, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole thing. So, the main point of the story is that he marries her and he whisks her off to his castle, but she can't lay eyes on him. Like she can't, she's not allowed to see him. So he comes at night and, all the things. And there's something about it that it like lends itself. I mean, all of Greek mythology lends itself to romantasy, but
Yeah.
um there's just something about their story that's always like lent itself really well to like a dark romance that I was like, oh, that's
Mm,
the one that I would rewrite if I were going to do a retelling.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Even though I don't need another fucking project. I
Eh,
have 4 novels that I'm currently working on.
mhm.
That all like they're all like a minimum 10,000 words each. You know, it's not
Yep.
like I mean that's not that much, but it's not nothing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like several chapters. Um, but yeah, I kind of want to, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But should we jump
I
into
just got my
our
main yeah, I just got my main girl
yeah
right now. Um
yeah? Let's get
yeah.
there.
Okay,
Um,
so tell me about this tier maker. What are we doing today?
Okay, so we're gonna do a tier list of first pages of romantasy books. Obviously we talked about the romantasy books in general, but I thought like the first pages are really interesting to me. In particular, I recently read the Red Rising first page, and I thought that was really interesting. I don't know if it's the first page. The other thing is that there's prologues for some of these that aren't technically like a first page, although anyway. Okay, so first of all, let's name the tiers. So let's what should we call our top tier? So like
Okay.
how do we want to rank these? Is it like what pulls us in the most? Because that's what a first page is supposed to do, but it's also supposed to set a thematic tone.
Yeah.
It's supposed to tell the reader what they can expect from the book. It's supposed to like establish character and like so. There's a lot of things the first
Hmm.
page can and maybe should do. But what are you looking for in a first page? Or what
Yeah.
do you think is important?
I don't. I,
No, I
I
don't.
don't want to focus just on hook. I have I have my that will tap into my academic writing brain where I'm like a
Yeah,
hook doesn't matter, just fucking say what you're gonna say. But I think with
definitely.
literature a hook matters more.
Hmm.
So I definitely think that a hook is part of it. Um, I think one of the things that we have going for us with this exercise is that one or both of
Yeah,
us have read these books, so we can
how
gauge
representative it is. Yeah.
how successful the first
Hmm.
page is of what the tone of the book is. So I think that maybe we should do kind of a two level where it's how interesting is it for someone who's never read the book and doesn't necessarily, but then a
Okay.
factor, like it's kind of a two phase factor. Does it catch me? What's that hook? Am I interested? Am I kind of endeared to a character or am I curious, right? I think that that is super helpful. Do I want to turn the page? And then also, does it set the tone for either what the book is or what
Okay.
this character arc
So
or
let's call it
something?
maybe like.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
but I think both of those are specific. So I think that if it does just one of those, then it
Okay.
cannot be an S
So let's
tier.
call S tier like um what's
There's a part of me where S tier should be. I would title my S
okay.
tier, Did We Just Become Best Friends? Because one, it's I'm a millennial and it's a reference to Step Brothers, but also because I feel like for me, reading a first page is kind of that for me, right? Did I just become best friends with this person? Or am I super
Mhm.
into, am I here
I
for
knew you were
whatever
content
stupid
brained.
shit you're about to do based on that
Okay.
I am
Oh
content
yeah.
brain. But yeah, like, did we just become best friends? Like, do I want to follow you under the mountain? Do I want to figure out
I think that's
if you're
perfect.
more than a lame princess? Do I want to know why you're on the fucking parapet kind of stuff? Like, did we just become best friends? I'm here
Okay.
for it. It's kind of S tier for me. But I think that it does both things, right? It gives me the curiosity, gives me a little bit of a hook, gives me something that I'm curious about, gives me
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, okay, I'm kind of here for like, what is this? But also sets the stage
Okay.
for what it is I'm
What
about to
is
read.
this
I
has
don't want
nothing
to
to
be
do with
like,
it.
wow, this is a really cool character, but I have
Yeah.
no clue what is happening. Or vice versa, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, okay, like I'm expecting this, I kind of understand what's happening here,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this character sucks or
Okay.
something, right? So I
And
think S tier
what
does
about
both of
like
those
the
things for
next
me.
tier underneath it? Like, or let's say maybe name let's do the bottom tier first. Actually, so there's did we just become best friends? And then there's like
Hmm.
I don't know what is the bottom tier like? I guess the bottom tier is like if we would stop reading because like
Yes.
we just like
Yeah.
DNF.
And usually,
Okay, D for DNF.
yeah. there yeah. There's a couple of books where I've read a first page and
Okay,
I'm like,
so
meh,
okay,
and put it back
so
on a
that would be
shelf.
like the worst tier. Okay. What about like a mid
Yes.
tier? Is it like I don't know. I don't know how like
Mid tier is probably where, like, there's very few books that I don't finish, but I feel like mid tier would be where
kind of like
I think D would be like, I was here for about 10 chapters, but it just didn't hold me. And like, I really want to like it, but I just, like, when I put the book
mhm.
down, I don't think about it anymore. And it's very hard to pick back up. That's D tier for
Okay. So
me,
maybe we'll
or
call
I
that
guess C
forgettable.
tier.
Okay. So then the one
Yeah.
above it, the mid-range tier, B tier.
And then, yeah, mid-range tier would be like, where it feels like an exercise. I will keep picking the book up. I'm here for it, and I'm waiting. It will grab me. It will happen. But but it's a little bit of an exercise of willpower to open that book back up. And it's oftentimes where it's like, once I'm in the book, I'm good, but it's that picking it back up, the being like, ooh,
Like,
I want to
do
keep
we like
reading
eating
that.
our
I think that's B
vegetables?
tier for me, where I'm like, I will read it and I enjoy, yeah, I'm like, I enjoy it when I'm there, but it takes me a long time to be
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
going there.
Okay. Okay. And then
Yeah.
so do we like eating our veggies? Maybe because
Sure.
it's like
Yeah.
we yes.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel great once I've done it. It's gonna feel, yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna enjoy it. I don't mind a veggie, but it's not chocolate. It's
Yeah.
not bringing me to the kitchen,
Maybe
but
like,
I
I don't know,
enjoy it
A
when I'm
tier is
there.
like so
Yeah.
it's like pretty good,
A tier for me is this
okay.
sound. Oh, okay. Like, where I'm just like, oh, I'm interested. I'm here for it. I'm
Okay.
curious. Okay. Like that's the A tier for me. We didn't just become best friends, and that's fine,
Okay.
but I'm here for it.
Okay, but let's start with Akatar.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
let's see. Yeah. Okay. Starting with Akatar, we can describe some of them. I think the first line: the forest had become a
Mhm.
labyrinth of snow and ice. I've been monitoring the parameters of the thicket for an hour. She's basically describing hunting and waiting for her kill. And the first chapter is like this hunt, um, and so but a lot of this first page is about kind of the desperation. Um, and also some discussion. We do get the Fae named on the first page. Um, kind of talking about like wolves territory and like the
Okay.
landscape basically. But it's essentially just like about the landscape of the book of like where she
Mhm.
is. Um, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think of this in general and then where does it go on the tier list, you think? Do you think this is an iconic first page? Mhm.
Yes. So my first go of Akatar was
Oh,
audiobook, and I did not
interesting.
enjoy it.
Ew,
But I
yeah, I
think it was
hate
also like
audiobooks.
my first audiobook. And I was not in the mindset for it. I didn't know. I was like, wow, well, I don't know, something about a wolf. And it didn't catch my attention at all. But then reading it in hard copy,
Okay.
I remember being like, oh, okay, I'm here for this. Um, and that might be why I called
Uh-huh.
A tier. Oh, okay, because I just did that. Um, but I think it does enough, right? It sets the stage. It gives you some descriptions already. We know there's Fae. Doesn't it mention a wall?
Mm, no, but it does talk about like different territories
We at
and
least have
where
territory.
mortals can and can't go. No.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that
Yeah.
there's world
Oh, for sure.
building on the first page, and you have this character who you're like, wait, there's fairies and maybe humans, and she's hunting in the winter and it's cold. And so I think that it does some, I don't know that it's did we just become best friends, but I definitely
Oh,
would put it in the oh
okay.
okay
Let's see.
section for me.
I hmm. Yeah, I think it's fair to put in oh okay. I think it's somewhere between oh okay and eating our veggies.
I
Um,
Yeah. I do like the
yeah, except for
first
it doesn't feel
line
as
of
kind
the
of like
book.
that's maybe like the only time we've ever seen the word labyrinth in the series. Like it makes it kind of seem maybe I take
Mhm.
first words, first page, first lines very seriously. So I would almost expect it to be about like the book feels like a big puzzle, which you could argue that it does. But I sort of want a more
Mhm.
resonance with that labyrinth image.
I mean, considering that how many theories that come out
Yeah.
about it and that there's overlap and that there's
There you
three
go.
series, yeah, I think
For the
labyrinth is
verse,
actually kind of a
the
perfect word for, yeah. So could be the foreshadowing of
mhm.
the
Yeah.
the
I think it
Mossverse.
is like it's pretty good.
Mhm.
And obviously it's, it's very well known. Okay, so I put it in oh okay. Um okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna, I didn't even realize this. I just assumed Throne of Glass. Some people in this household would say Assassin's Blade goes first, but since a lot of people and the author is just considering it a first page. We're gonna say Throne of Glass for the first page.
Well,
Mhm.
so here's my thing.
It was first.
Publication
Yeah,
wise,
yeah. So,
Throne of Glass
I
is
mean,
the
we can
first
talk
book.
about Assassin's Blade, the first thing that
So,
happens in that, but yeah, we could. Okay, so the first page of Throne of Glass is okay. The first line: After years of slavery in the salt mines of Endovier, Selena Sardathian was accustomed to being escorted everywhere in shackles and at sword point. And then some description about the slaves, and then what she did not usually expect, however, was a hooded man in black at her side, as there was now. He gripped her arm as he led her through the shining building. So she's being led somewhere. We're walking, and she's just noticing like all the different sort of like the landscape of the building, essentially. So I feel like it definitely captures like the the she's like a caged bird, right? She's like she's trapped. She's very much like looking for
mhm,
exits, and so you can tell her mind is like on high alert. I'd say right away. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, I think that first line does a lot to set up like the vibe. Yeah, yeah. What do you think?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Best friends.
I think it is. It does pull you in.
For me, Throne of Glass was best friends, which is weird because as I went on, it took me a minute. I had read ACOTAR first, and so shifting to Throne of Glass, the tone is a little bit different, right? It's considered more YA than NA,
You would call it NA.
um, and
NA.
NA,
Oh.
new
Oh.
new adult. Yeah. Um, so it's
Mhm.
definitely lives more in a YA space, or at least appropriate for a slightly younger audience. And I do remember getting to probably like a quarter of the way through and being like, okay, like here, I'm here, but what for a minute? But I think it was the hardship from expecting a
Mhm.
like ACOTAR and it being different. I had the same, if not even a harder sort of shift to Crescent City. I was very
Same.
not happy with Crescent City at first, for mostly because of the modernity of Crescent City. I didn't enjoy.
It's just
Um,
jarring. Yeah.
yeah, and so taking that out of it, of the like I expected it to be like this other thing. Um yeah, no, the like starting off in slavery, starting off in a sort of camp, having question, like it's super curious right away. Who is this person?
Yeah.
What just happened? We're starting off in slavery, or at least in some sort of imprisonment, right?
Yeah.
Um we've got hooded figures, we've got she's leaving, so that's interesting. Like, okay, so the story's not going to be about her time there.
Yep.
We're leaving, where are we going, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I think the first page of that book is very much a like, it catches you. And the idea of being like, oh, I thought that this story was this, and then it does something very different, is also the tone of that entire series, where you're like, I
Yes.
was expecting a thing, and then all of a sudden we're queens.
Yeah.
um I was
Spoiler.
I was expecting Dorian, and then we got Kale, and then we got Rowan. So yeah, so I think that it sets
Yeah.
up the tone of the book well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
How about for
Okay, I
you?
think we can
Is
get
it
through.
is it best
Oh, I
friends?
felt
Is it
similar. Yeah, I felt similar about Throne of Glass. Or the book itself wasn't that interesting, but I do think the first page is a strong start. I don't love a first name in a first line. It feels like old timey
got
to
it?
me, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a that's like a. It doesn't. It's not like I'm gonna judge that. It's not like it doesn't make it bad. I just like it's not
Yeah.
my preference. Um.
How do you feel about first pages that start with dialogue?
Oh, I don't mind that at all. I much
Okay.
prefer that as
I
like
think my I think
a.
my very first line of my book is dialogue.
I think it is. Yeah, I think I've seen, I think I've read the first chapter. So, no, I actually like in media res start. A lot of people actually that has gone in and out of fashion. But as like a short story, I've mostly written shorter things. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's much more common to start in media res. It's just meaning like in the middle of the action, basically. Um, I don't know, a lot of poems start that way too.
Mhm.
Well, if it's the like that kind of poem, but anyway, so but I just there's something about like it feels very storybook to like
Mhm.
have a character's full name in the thing. First name, sure, that's fine, but
But
like I don't know.
that works for that book because it
Yeah,
is very
it's
much
very
fairy tale
yeah.
storybook for that,
But when I
and
read it, I'm like, I don't know that yet, so I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I don't know. But yeah, Throne of Glass is harder for me to get into for sure.
Mhm.
I read like I think all of Akatar. I think I read it in like 8 days,
Mhm.
and I read Throne of Glass in like 3 days.
The
So
whole series?
oh, the first book.
The book, okay.
So, but like the whole
Sorry.
all of Akatar took me 8 days. This book alone took me 3 days,
Yeah.
and all of Crescent City took me a month, even though it's only 3 books.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's my order for that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, what about Crescent City?
I'm pulling up Crescent City's first page
Okay,
because I wanna see this. Sorry. Pulling it up on
I know
Kindle
the
so it's
first line
taking.
for sure. I always talk about the full first line.
Ah, right, you do know the first line.
Yeah, so
Um,
first line, there was a wolf at the gallery door. And that annoyed me from the first line.
really?
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing full magic like people are talking animals type of, like I was like, are
Uh-huh.
we doing like and which is fine. Like I just was like not it's not what I was like thinking it was and so I was like, what is this? And I mean, I guess the talking animals one, yeah, it just wasn't the vibe. But that
So,
there's someone to write it well.
I had, I had a kind of a whiplash reaction to the first page because at first I was like, "Hell yeah, like we got a wolf and we've got the magic and we've got the things," and I kind of liked the vulgarity of the dialogue. I was like, okay, we've got cuss words right out the gate, like there's kind of a crassness, there's kind of an edgy sharpness to the
Mhm.
dialogue, to the
Oh
characters.
yeah, I forgot about that.
But I also at the exact same time fucking hated the modernity of it. I
Yeah,
was
I
just
don't
like,
mind.
and I think it's because I didn't know that that's what it was gonna be. I didn't know that we were gonna have lights and computers and cell phones and video feed. Um,
Yeah.
and so for me, I was like, wait, what? Uh, oh, okay. And again, I don't want the first page to be like the reason, its success is based on my preconceived notions from other series that she
Yeah.
wrote. But I remember being really, really jarred and being like, I don't really like, then what's their struggle if they have the internet? But
They have
that's,
a more strong. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Yes. So, but I think, you're probably also. I think the dialogue. Bryce is like not only a character who's set in a weirdly modern world, and we're not used to that. So even if it was great, really good writing, it still is weird, for that. But also, she's a character who doesn't need any world building. She's not a stranger to this land,
yeah,
and so any time where she is being like explaining how something works, you're like, who are you talking to, bud? Like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
You don't need to tell yourself about email and how like
yeah,
about the library. Like, it's not. You need to world build differently when you
yeah.
are a resident of the world, and I
And
think
it can be
it's.
done. It's done all the time.
I think that's why a lot of people have somebody from out of town coming in a lot.
Yeah,
Um, and so, or if you have anyone new, you can just do it. But really, you need to do it through implication. Normally, in any other circumstance. Which let's returning to the first page. Uh, The Wolf at the Galley Door is actually a good example of implicit world building. You
yeah,
assume, oh, the normal thing, the very first thing I'm given is that wolves come to gallery doors. So, the reader deduces world wolves are people, kind of, or a character, or this is like an attack. And it's not. It's written in like very matter of fact, so you get the sense that it's normal. And then you do get a lot about like, yeah, the what you're talking about with the witty, like which meant Bryce had to be really goddamn tired if she relied on Danica's comings and goings to figure out what day it was. Like, it's very snarky and snippy from the front, which
Mhm.
a lot of people might like too, I will
I
say.
did.
The kind of thing that will irk me, unless it's
Mhm.
extremely well done, or
Yeah.
just it needs to be a little bit more like self-deprecating, I think. For
Mhm.
me, I just there's some of this that I'm just like it kind of reeks of don't talk to me about until I've had my coffee, like
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
cringe Gen Xers. Uh, anyway, are we calling this eating our veggies forgettable or okay? I feel like it's neither the top or bottom tier.
If it wasn't in the mass verse, I may have put it down.
In which one? The bottom or the second to bottom?
No, no, I mean, like, I may have set I if Crescent City was the first book that I was not like a
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna be loyal to this author.
I would have DNF'd it actually.
So I think that we should put it in forgettable.
Okay. Okay, forgettable. Okay, so let's talk about Fourth Wing's first page. I'll read it and I'll read like parts of it and summarize for you. Okay, so we start with let me see. Okay. So this is the first thing. So we start with the quote: "A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead." From Article 1, Section 1 of the Dragon Riders Codex, and then a little dragon symbol in Chapter 1. Okay, and then conscription day is always the deadliest. Maybe that's why the sunrise is especially beautiful this morning, because I know it might be my last. In terms of first line, I think that's a really interesting one. I remember thinking it's a bit melodramatic, like okay, but you looking back on it, I'm like, it's fine.
Mhm.
I like it.
I mean, the whole
Okay,
series is a little melodramatic, so I think it sets the
yeah, I
tone.
think I was just not in the mood for like a ultimate
Yeah.
scary time. Like I was like, come on, I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, but I tighten the straps of my heavy canvas rucksack and trudge up the wide staircase of the stone fortress I call home. My chest heaves with exertion, my lungs burning by the time I reach the stone corridor leading to General Sorrengail's office. This is what 6 months of intense physical training has given me: the ability to barely climb 6 flights of stairs with a 30-pound pack. I'm so fucked. The thousands of 20-year-olds waiting outside the gate to enter their chosen quadrant for service are the smartest and strongest in Navarre. Hundreds of them have been preparing for the Writers' Quadrant, the chance to become one of the elite since birth. I've had exactly 6 months. The expressionless guards lining the wide hallway at the top of the landing avoid my eyes as I pass, but that's nothing new. Besides, being ignored is the best possible scenario for me. Basgiath War College isn't known for being kind to, well, anyone, even those of us whose mothers are in command. Every Navaran officer, whether they choose to be schooled as healers, scribes, infantry, or riders, is molded within these cruel walls over 3 years, honed into weapons to secure our mountainous borders from the violent invasion attempts of the King of Poromil and their Griffin riders. Okay, so I went to the second page because this is just the end of the sentence, but that's our first page. Lots of good implied world building, actually. Oh, it starts to tip into actual exposition,
Yeah.
but
What
it's
I
not the
will say
worst.
is from the script at the top of the page that's not part of the from the little, because I love how her chapters start with that.
Did they all start with that? I
They
don't
all start
remember.
with that.
Okay.
That and the first few sentences of the book, I'm oh, okay. Not quite
Okay.
besties, because as I read on, I'm like, this is a lot of exposition, but okay, like, you're giving
Mhm.
me information, okay. Um, I have such a hard time. I don't think I have as many of the like exposition qualms as you do, but
Mhm.
now thinking about it, I'm like, why would you be thinking about that? You're gonna be like, my mother is the leader. You're like, that's just a reality of your world. So
Yeah, you're not thinking. Yes, exactly. That's I would say from the part where it says Bosgath War College isn't comment isn't or Bosgaeth what
Bazgaya.
sorry I anyway but
So just so we're clear, now we're even because I
Printhian.
Printhian and Bazgith.
That's funny. Okay. So but that from there when it starts talking about that and explaining the different people, that's where I was like, come on,
Yeah,
stop it. Like,
yeah.
but before that, I was like, okay, the mother thing. I'm like, you just tell us that when you walk in, like you walk into the general's office.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think it's misleading to even call her General Sorrengail on the first page.
Yeah.
I think you just say my mom's office,
Yeah.
and then you make it clear that she's the general. I think that's more interest, but I
Or
mean, I
you
guess it
or
does
you look
establish the
at
way
you
that
look
she
at
treats her
her
like
yeah,
anyone
you
else.
look at her lapel or you look at her name tag on the desk or something and you roll your eyes at general and you're like, "Fuck me." Or she says it snarky, like, "Good morning, general." And her mom's like, "Really? It's you know,
Yeah.
or she
Well,
says
her
good
mom is like,
or vice
"Isn't she
versa,
like,
or
call
she's
me general? I'm not
yeah,
you're not my
yeah,
daughter."
and so you do
Like, so
vice
that's how
versa.
you get it
Yeah,
across.
exactly. You say something like, "Hey, mom," and she's like, "It's general in here." And you're like,
Uh-huh.
"Ugh, fuck me."
'Cause she's
Right?
the one who doesn't fit. The
Yeah,
mom fits perfectly. This is what she was born to do.
yeah,
She's a writer. Violet's the one who's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm
yeah.
doing here." And so
And
that's
it
the one
makes
who's
sense that she would be like, "All these people have been training for forever. I had 6 months." Like, that's fine. But yeah, she could have just walked into the office and been like, "Morning, mom." And she was like, "When you're in this room, I'm general." And you're like, and like have her roll her eyes, like,
Mhm.
"Okay."
Or even, like, in her head, she calls her mom, and then she says general
Yeah.
because she knows that that's what she's gotta do.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's fine,
Mhm.
like, but I just there's just,
Or
I
she's
I went
or
into 4th
and
reading
have that
knowing that people didn't like it, and so
yeah.
I was okay with stuff like this,
Yeah.
because I expected it to be bad.
I mean, I'm interested. First page, I'm interested in the book.
Okay,
I wanna turn the page.
okay. So we're thinking like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay." I'm probably
It's at the very
between
least
that and veggies.
yeah, it's at the very least eat your veggies. I think
Hmm.
what saves it or what steps it up to an A tier for me is the small description at the top that you're like, "Oh, this is" because that's a tone of the book. I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna start off with this, like, little Easter eggy little clues of something."
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because when there's, like, a little description up there, I'm like, "Oh, those are places for me to just dissect because those are gonna be giving me little thingies," right? Because already it's like a dragon without their rider and the rider without their dragon, blah blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let's tear this apart. And then
Mhm.
I know that going forward, I'm like, who's writing it? Am I getting a year date on these things? Like, because then you start seeing that like the scholar or yeah the scholar who is their friend who is deaf is the one who's writing some of these inscriptions at the top of the book. Like, I'm into that. So I think that that's what sets it apart for me and takes it from like eating my vegetables into, oh, okay.
Okay. That's interesting. A lot of people, I've heard that people don't read those and that editors never want you to put really important information in those because people commonly skip them.
Yeah, that would be why I'd put them in there. And I think that's why
Yeah.
Yaros does, because Yaros gets questions all the time where they're like, how important are those beginning things? And she's like, very important. Or they're like,
Yeah.
did you hide things in there? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah. I always read them. I do it to make myself read them. I go, I don't want to read this stupid ass thing. That's how I feel about when the moon hatched as well. I don't like reading the journal entries because they feel similar. And so I make myself do it. But
I
I was like,
so I love Yaros's little beginnings.
mhm,
They're short, they're sweet usually. They're not usually super long even when they're letters. There's excerpts of letters as opposed to the full letter.
mhm.
Where yeah, when Moon hatched, I'm like, really, I gotta read a journal entry from 1,000 years ago. I don't really care. Which
Yeah.
is super weird that the historians like don't care, but it takes me out of the story sometimes.
Because they're not
Has
interesting enough. They feel expected.
or I know that this is all foreshadow. And
Yes.
I'm reading it for that as opposed to reading it for the thrill of the story.
It
With
feels cinematic.
Yaros, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm getting some information in a really kind of interesting way."
It's just a
And
book. Mhm.
here's the thing, she's a student. So it makes sense that there's these little excerpts or tidbits or things that she, whatever that's part of the world. I'm good with it. With Yaros, I'm good with it. But other people not so much. And that's why I'm really worried about when I want to do a similar thing with my series, that I keep them short, that I keep them kind of
Mhm.
excerpties or keep them to
Just
where
like
it's
you gotta not you gotta both trust your reader and give them,
yeah,
it's there's just a line, and Mistborn does them too. I like some of the ones in Mistborn, and I some of them I don't. I
yeah,
wouldn't say any author does them. Oh, this person always does them well. I
yeah,
think a lot of times they could be like, "Ugh, come on. And sometimes they're like, that was sick, or that's really interesting. And that, I think there some people are better at them. I remember Sandersons were kind of hit and miss for me. I was
Mhm.
like, sometimes I would put the book down because I didn't feel like reading the little paragraph excerpt, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm done for the night because I don't have that same pull through, and I would still pick it
Yeah.
up, but I was like, all right, we're done. I'm not. Feels like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, let's go to Moonhash. I like looking at first pages because they're
Mhm.
so interesting. It's actually I don't read the back of a book, but I will read a first page
Mhm.
to get a sense of the writing. And actually, that's
Oh,
why I
yeah.
picked the Blood of Hercules. And I always hear about that book. I see it all over BookTok, and I read the first page and I said, "Fuck no."
You said no?
And I hated the writing in the first page, or the
Ooh.
first couple of pages. So I didn't get that book, but maybe I will one day get it. Okay, this is the first one we have. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first one we have a prologue, and it is kind of a whole thing, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
skip that because it's technically not part of the story.
Yeah.
uh, Also apparently something that people skip, which I think is crazy.
I can't
I
imagine
wouldn't skip
skipping
a
it.
prologue. Sometimes I'm annoyed and I don't really feel like
Mhm.
wanting to start the prologue, but I would
Yeah.
never skip it.
Yeah.
um but I actually think this prologue is one of the better things in the book.
I don't like a
I liked it.
prologue in book 1, but I like subsequent books to have prologue. I'm okay with
Mm,
that. If it starts with a prologue, and I started my book with a prologue and then immediately put it off to the side and was like, this gives away too much. This was for me.
yeah,
This is not for the book. And I think that that's part of it is like, you're just going to throw something at me and then hard shift, and I'm supposed to forget about it but not forget about it and not
yeah.
think that it's connected and not start to see things. Like, I don't want the hints, but I'm good with it in a second book because then you've had all of this build up, you've had a full narrative arc, and then you're like, oh, now we can deep dive a little bit more with some more secrets with a prologue in a book
Hmm.
2, 3, 12, whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
But I don't like it in a first book.
Interesting. Okay, so well, this one is like the actual. It is actually very disconnected. It is just the gods. So it's like first
Mm-hmm.
was Kalis, god of Aether. I do like it though because it has not come back into play that much, very
Yeah.
slightly to where you almost do forget about it, and I
Yeah.
like that. Actually, I think this was one of the more well done things about the book was this myth in the beginning. That's why I bought it because I read that and was like, oh, that's how it starts. But that's actually it's like a 6 pages of this myth, and it's like the world creation. Now that can be really a gamble because it's also like you're gonna give your whole world's myth in 6 pages for the
Mm-hmm.
first part of the book. It's crazy. But I liked it. I actually thought it was well done. The first actually, we'll look at the chapter one though. So it starts with Rave, and it's got these drawings. Chapter one, and then it says 5,165 after stone as the timestamp. And then here's the first page, or here's the first line. I curl my shoulders forward, crumbling my posture into something that appears trodden, scared. Scared is on its own line.
Yeah.
I think it's an okay first line.
Mm-hmm.
I like the appears trodden. That
Mm-hmm.
definitely seems like you get a lot of world building
Yeah.
without okay, this person's somewhere where they're trying to hide and they're trying to appear non-threatening.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and it's the curiosity aspect, right? Already I'm
yes.
like, who is this and why are we
Why are we
pretending,
doing this?
why are we presenting as non-threatening? Because I'm
Hmm.
immediately on edge. I'm like, if you're
Yes.
presenting as non-threatening, that means something is threatening.
Hmm.
And now I want to know.
Yeah, and then we get kind of like a zoom out, like rounding a corner, I step onto the stairwell's bottom landing, chased by a parchment lark that flutters so close. I'm surprised it doesn't nudge at me to pluck it from the air. I do love the parchment larks. Those are great.
Hmm.
I think they're so cute, and
That's also
that
really
is one of the
great.
best things, actually, one of the best lore things. Like I said, this book has great lore,
Uh-huh.
actually.
Hmm.
It's just the exposition and some of the writing. But so the parchment lark is cute. Okay, as I twirl the thin iron ring on my middle finger, my gaze climbs the heavily armored guard, blocking the gloomy tunnel ahead, arms crossed, his shaved head almost brushing the curved ceiling, a flock of parchment larks nuzzling the door at his back. He's twice my size, boasting a scowl that appears to have permanently dented his face. His disapproving leer comes to rest on the nick sliced into my left ear, up near the tapered tip, like somebody with a tiny mouth bit a chunk from the outer shell. My clip. No token, no entry, he grinds out, immediately dismissing me as a lesser, a null, someone who doesn't hear any of the four elemental songs. Okay, so that's the first page. What did you think about it?
It's eat your veggies for me.
Yeah, when she starts to say my clip and explain the tiers and the stratification of society, I go, all right.
So
Yeah, I think
here's
it's eat your
here's here's
veggies.
why it's eat your veggies. Because I'm a little confused, which is
See,
fine.
confusion doesn't bother me, but the the talking about being lesser and the tiers, that's too
I
much. But
think I think it's also because I know that with the book I read all of the glossary of terms.
you did? I still
Yes.
haven't read that.
I've read
I will read a
I
prologue. I will never read a glossary.
I read the glossary. I read all of the character and like
Oh my
little
god, the
thingies,
pronunciation?
all the things. And
Oh
so
my
by the
god.
time I got there, I was like, what is happening? Like I had too much information in my head. Now, with the page alone, I could see it being an oh okay, but I feel like there's still I'm super super curious, but I don't know what the tone is yet. And so I think it does one of the two things that a top tier first page does. That it hasn't quite set what I'm going to like what I'm in for up
Mhm.
yet, right? Fourth Wing sets that up. We're
Yes.
on we're that's the
Going
daughter
to
of
a
the
war
general.
college.
We got dragons. It's a day. She sucks. Blah blah blah. All the things. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what I'm coming into. I don't need to know all the things, but I need to know that, like, kind of what I might be sitting with
Mhm.
for a number of days. Whereas I still didn't know what I was going to be sitting with for a number of days, but I'm curious as all fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a veggies. I think she's a solid broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in the beginning
Um,
I could put the book down and
yeah.
take a minute
I
to
did
walk
put the book
away.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. I could be like, it's one that I will read and I'll be interested in reading it, but if I don't have the mental capacity for it, I might go for something that's more comforting.
See, I don't get tired with a lot of exposition, because I don't expect to hold it all in my head. I just say these are textures. What's important will get it will be clear. And if it's not clear, like I should have to remember like one little line that was mentioned in the very beginning. Like
Yeah.
if it's so insignificant, like it will build up
Mhm.
the important parts, and the rest of the parts are fun on a reread,
Yeah.
or like they're more. I just see them as like, yeah, like texture, so I don't worry about. I gotta remember that. I just go,
Mhm.
if that's important, we'll hear about it again and then
Yeah.
again and then again. um and I think typically that usually is fine, but that's why I don't usually get the overwhelmed feeling. I do get the feeling that probably is similar enough where I'm like, stop telling me stupid shit, because that way it actually, like, you know it interrupts the texture instead of having like this. There's all these things, it's like, and here's the what's that called, and here's the caption. But yeah, so yeah, but I think there's some interesting thing. I love that parchment lark. It's so cute. It reminds me of
Mhm.
like Harry Potter kind of like vibes. You know how Harry Potter is
Yeah.
kind of like that modern but kind of scrunchy like
Yeah.
tone. I don't know how to
But
explain
I
it.
also love that,
It's
like,
very British.
I love that it kind of it's kind of its own character. The parchment larks are kind of their
Yes.
own character.
Oh,
And
that, okay, that is
especially
the
the
best
one
part of
and
it's one of the best parts.
kind of like the what we get with like the parchment lark later where it's like it's a little bit
Yes.
worn because it's been opened and closed a million times and it just has this one line and
I
like
spoiled myself flipping to the back,
mhm.
and I was like, "No!"
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It has its own sort of character, even though it's sort of an animated inanimate object.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. And I can see the like wanting to hold on to it in a way that feels slightly more than sentimentality, where you're like, yeah, I want to hold on to it because it's a letter or it's a message or it's this, all the reasons why you would want to hold on to a letter, but
Yeah.
it also somehow is like it has its own little personality outside of the words on it, and like that is, yeah, I don't know, the messages are super cute.
So cute. Um, okay, so then we have Serpent on the Wings of Night. This one also starts with a prologue, and I will say I read the prologue And it's funny, Caleb and I both read the prologue kind of at the same time because I read it and I didn't like it. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like stuff like this. Caleb read it and he goes, that seems great. I want to read that book. And I was like, what do you mean? So he read it, loved it. I read it, didn't love it, but then I liked the book.
I don't remember there being a prologue to this book.
So the prologue is the king did not know then that his greatest love would also be his ruination, nor that either would come in the form of a tiny helpless human child. And it's where he talks about like the vampires and
Yeah.
they rescue her from the burning
Yeah,
house.
and he calls her little serpent or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I know. I was like, why do you call it serpent? I was like, oh, because he calls her serpent.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's like basically him just getting her from the wreckage.
Yeah.
And then part one, dusk, is the first chapter marks, and then chapter one, um, it started as practice, just a little game, a little exercise, something I needed to prove to myself. I wasn't sure when it had evolved into sport, my shameful secret rebellion. Some might find it stupid for me, a human, to hunt at night when I was at a considerable disadvantage compared to my prey. But the night was when they acted, and so it was when I did too. I pressed to the wall, the dagger clenched tight in my hands. The night was warm, the kind when the sun's heat clung to the steamy humidity of the air long after sunset. The smell hung in a thick, rotten cloud, rancid food from the trash in the alleys, yes, but also decaying meat and sour blood. The vampires didn't care to clean up after themselves here, in the human districts of the House of Night. Humans were supposed to be safe here, within the walls of the kingdoms, citizens, if inferior ones, weaker than the Nightborn in every way. But that second truth too often rendered the first irrelevant. The man was a Hiaj, his wings tucked in close to his back. Apparently, he wasn't much of a magic user because he didn't spirit them away for easier hunting, or maybe he just enjoyed the effect that they had on his prey. Some of them were showy like that. They liked to be feared. I'm gonna stop there actually because then it goes on. It's like the start of the next page. But so I yeah. What do you think of that opening as the first page?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm here for
I'm
it.
so here
I
for it.
like there's no all the exposition is more like we're just positioning in the story. At most, the worst of it is like talking about like I don't know when it, but it's really more like an actual like thought like when did I start doing this? Like
Mhm.
not as like a like wasn't it supposed to be just a little exercise and now I've kind of
Well,
gotten carried away
and
with it,
it's
you know?
yeah, and
It feels like a reflection.
it's also it feels like the why am I so dumb? Self-talk.
Yeah, like
Like the
introspection.
I am doing this is
Is
how
that the word you're looking for?
yeah, but like and that's but like that kind of self-talk where we say things that are really obvious to ourselves and it doesn't feel like
Mhm.
exposition because you're like, when did I start doing this for fucking ever? Like when
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like or
It's
like
natural.
yeah, when you do a thing you're like, well, I am an idiot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it doesn't feel like I started to practice and like it doesn't feel like she's telling us. It feels like there's a self-deprecating like when the fuck did I make this a thing for me?
Mhm.
Like this is not smart, but here we are. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Even the most exposition is the humans being safe or not safe, but that even feels like more of like her being annoyed at society
Well,
and kind of
it
like a commentary as opposed to like, let me tell you about how the world works.
it also feels like she's making an observation. That's
Mhm.
the difference. It's not her telling us, it's her observing. I'm in the human district, I'm hunting this thing. They're supposed to be safe here. Like
Yeah.
and like finding like the bullshit of it, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
why would I
You can feel her anger.
well and why would I continue to do safe things? And I think that that's like that juxtaposition where she's like this became like a habit and I know it's wrong, but it's also kind of a
Mhm.
necessity because the place that she should feel safe is not safe. So where she's like, this is silly for me to go out when I know that like my prey is stronger than me. Okay, but even the places that are supposed to be safe for your kind are not safe for your kind. So yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, it doesn't matter if I'm not putting myself in danger any more than just living here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a really good start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We also
definitely
we also are wildly biased towards Broadbent, and she could do no wrong.
well, I
But
think it's
it's
because
because
of
of
stuff
things
like
like
that.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Um
best friends.
yeah. Okay. This book. Okay.
I love that book, but I don't remember the first page, so this is fun.
Okay. Um, I think there's also let's see.
Actually,
I think Tracy always has a prologue.
I feel like I remember the first page, and I remember the prologue being like, "Hell yes, I'm here," and then I remember the first page being like, "Yeah, I'm. This is the book I'm going to be reading, and I'm good with that." But
Oh,
remind
okay.
me.
So, okay, prologue. I think Broadbent has a prologue in every single book that I've read of hers. And I think she does them well. So I'm
Mhm.
not upset about it, even though I generally don't love a prologue. But okay, so the prologue is um we
Forehead
don't get a
kisses.
name, but it's Max. And
Oh, it's
the first
oh
line,
right,
well,
right. It is. Yes, sorry.
you
I
had to think about it.
I thought it was the when Tisana is being taken from her mother, but it's not. It's when Max is being
No.
betrayed.
Yes. So it begins with two souls who find themselves suddenly utterly alone. That's the first little line that's like by itself in italics, and then below it, evaluate, judge, act. The young man let the words echo like a second heartbeat. And then it's like talking about him. I think it just calls him the young man this
Mhm.
whole time, and it's in his head about the scene and like his Nura and like, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, also part of this. Okay. So it ends with um like so you hear the voice and like and then Nura, who we know as Nura later, but she basically does the thing and makes him do it. And then there's a line on page 6, and then it says across the sea. This is where we get her. So you're right, we do actually get to both. The
Got it.
little girl was amazed by how quiet it all was. The slavers had come in the middle of the night, yanking her little village from a deep slumber. And then you get that whole scene with her being taken,
Forehead
and then we
kisses.
get part 1 with like this cool visual. And then 8 years later is chapter 1. um and it starts with 1, 2, 3. So I'll read this part. When I danced, I never stopped counting. So 1, 2, 3. When I danced, I never stopped counting. The truth was, I was a terrible dancer. I wasn't sure that I believed in the concept of talent at all, but even if I did, I could recognize that I didn't have any, at least not when it came to dancing. But talent, I learned, was optional. It could be substituted with long nights and early mornings, bleeding feet, obsessively memorized footwork. No one needed talent when they had brute force. And despite my willowy size and my unassuming doe eyed smile, I had more brute force than anyone. 4, 5, 6, twirl, and fire. I smiled at the merchant man seated in front of me, opening my palms to let blue fire unfurl from between my fingers. The audience, as Marissa's party guesses, oohed and awed appreciatively. There were several hundred people mingling about the large marble room, all dressed in their finest clothing. Lots of gold thread and floaty sheer chiffon, lots of white. Rich people loved white, perhaps because it proved that they had the money to spend on a small army of slaves to keep it clean.
Best friend. it's,
Yeah, I
it's
love this first page. No exposition. It's all like, again, it feels like introspection. Like, well, I'd say, if I'm her editor, I'm saying, do we need to say so much about the hard work? But I think it works, honestly.
perfect.
Maybe she's just my vibe. Maybe I'm being unfairly biased. I just think it's,
No, I
I was
love
there
it.
with it the whole
I
time.
also really love the lack of perfection, but with the like right amount of self-deprecation of being like,
Hmm.
I know I'm not a natural dancer, but I also know how to work hard and make it look like that. I
Yeah.
know that what
That's the
these
kind
people
of thing you would think of mid performance is you're like bored as hell. You do this all
yeah.
the time.
Well,
And
and
you're,
I also love the feeling that I know that this character, even if she is not the one, is going to work
mhm,
her ass off to do what she needs to do. And I think
yeah.
that that's what I want in a heroine sometimes. I don't want it to
Yeah.
be that I don't always want it to be a faded Neo
Perfect. Yeah.
situation, right?
Yeah.
I don't want them all to be Jesus, right? Where
Yeah.
they're destined to be this thing, but that she answers a call and she rises and she works her ass off for it. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
Plus, I actually just relate to it personally,
Yeah.
because I am like that. I always felt stupid, but that like I could work hard. That was my only talent. Was like
Yeah.
I ain't got shit, but I can put some effort in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay, so that's okay. We've got both Broadbent books and Throne of Glass in the Did We Just Become Best Friends tier.
Yeah.
First, so this is the first page of the Broken Kingdoms Curse of Shadow and Thorns. I had to look up the name. But I
Oh,
just
that's
know
what yours looks like. Mine doesn't look like that.
You don't have the art?
I don't have the art.
Interesting. I do have that chapter graphic.
Yeah,
But
I don't
oh
have
yeah,
the
I
chapter.
have the art.
I don't have the
Okay.
I have the
I was gonna
chapter
say because
graphic,
that's
but
a choice to put the fan art right next to it.
yep.
But that's interesting. Okay. Okay.
Um I die if I stayed much longer. First off, love the first line.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
oh, I'm here. Okay, we're done. We're ready. We're going. And then I kind of love that it hard stops into something that feels mundane. But anyways, we'll keep going.
Mhm.
I'd die if I stayed much longer. My father warned me if he caught me sneaking into the game hall again, my name would be blotted out from the royal house and I'd be tossed into the quarries to rot alongside the king's captured fae. My uncle was the king, and if I shamed our family, I had no doubt he'd be the first to bind me in chains. But I couldn't leave, not yet. This was my time to pretend I was someone else, someone with a life beyond the controls and demands of a royal house. I started when a heavy body I startled when a heavy body thudded into onto the greasy floorboards. A few grunts preceded the roar of curses to the gods, and if his drunkenness had as if his drunkenness had been their fault. A grin curled over my mouth, one I promptly hid behind my cards. No sense in drawing attention to myself when I was the only one in the game hall breaking the law. And I'll stop there.
Okay. Yes.
I'm interested, for sure.
Yeah. And I think the exposition's nice. We get a little bit, we know that the king's capturing Faye. And so
Hmm.
we get a sense of what the society is like, maybe how repressive it is. The fact that she's not allowed to be at this game suggests there's some strict controls.
Well,
Um,
and knowing that her
and
uncle is the king doesn't feel like exposition. It feels like something that she should be thinking about right now because she's doing
and it's
something
like
she
paired
shouldn't.
with it,
Yeah,
you
she's
know?
doing
Yeah.
something she shouldn't be doing.
Hmm.
I like that there's kind of a roller coaster on this first page, right? You're like, I'd
Yes.
die if I stayed much longer. And you're like, shit is real. And you're like, oh, my father, he caught me. You're like, oh, you're just in trouble with your dad. Oh, wait, you could be in trouble with the king. Oh, wait, you're in a games room. What does that mean? Oh, it's like a tavern. What is happening?
It's
Like,
like an illegal gambling.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's like
yeah.
a kind of a roller coaster of like, what's happening? And I'm enthralled.
Yes. Yeah. So are we putting this in the top tier?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
would.
agree about that. Yeah.
But yeah,
I think so too, honestly. Like I just yeah.
it just gets to it. I also love that, like, right, if I'm looking at the beginning of the book, I'm seeing a fun map that doesn't look like any map I've really seen before.
Oh yeah, the maps. I didn't look at the maps really.
Yeah,
Never look at the
I'm
maps to be
looking. Oh,
honest.
I study a map. Oh my
Gail loves
god, I
maps.
love a map. So I'm looking at a map, and the map looks slightly different than other maps that I'm accustomed to
Oh,
looking
I
at
haven't
because
even looked at
this
it now.
it's a little more kind of zoomed in. It's not just names that, like, we're getting like images of houses
Hmm.
and it looks smaller. It looks small, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The world looks small, which I kind of am okay with.
Hmm.
And then the real thing that got me is to those who pretend to cheer for the hero but really love the villain.
Is
Oh,
that the dedication?
it's before the author notes.
Oh, I didn't
You
read that
don't.
at all. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm here.
I usually do read that stuff, like, but I just didn't see it that time.
Yeah, that I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get the first page. We're best friends.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to read the rest of those too.
they're really good. Yes.
Hey, let's jump into Mistborn. Okay, we start with a preface. Oh wait, that's just his note about the writing. Actually, it's not a prologue. Sorry. Really? Okay, you want to talk about maps?
Okay. Okay.
Let me see. I don't know if there's
The
more.
Final Empire. Oh, I'm here for this.
Uh huh. Let's see.
Is there more?
No, that's it.
Okay.
But that's like 3 pages of
Yeah,
maps.
I'm good with
I think.
that.
Let's see. The first is it different areas? So One of them is so yeah, each region is called a dominance.
Okay.
So it's like the eastern dominance, the northern dominance, farmost dominance, terrace dominance. And then so this is like there's different it's confusing a little bit. It's in circles
Okay.
and there's things that are written in interesting places. There's also called ash mounts, which are mountains, like probably volcanoes.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, the final empire is like this is a big piece, I think. So maybe this
Okay.
is like a zoomed in type of thing, and this is the I don't really know. It is like the same thing though, but
Okay.
it's maybe more detailed on this one. Um, and then this is the city itself.
Okay.
So that's like the main city where there's a lot of stuff in the city. So that makes sense. And the city is very complex. Okay, this one also starts with a prologue, which I'll read a little bit of. Um, Sometimes I worry that I'm not the hero everyone thinks I am. The philosophers assure me that this is the time, that the signs have been met, but I still wonder if they have the wrong man. So many people depend on me. They say I will hold the future of the entire kingdom on my arms. What would they think if they knew that their champion, the hero of ages, their savior, doubted himself? Perhaps they wouldn't be shocked at all. In a way, this is what worries me most. Maybe in their hearts they wonder just as I do. When they see me, do they see a liar? Then we start the prologue. Ash fell from the sky. Lord Trusting frowned, glancing up at the ruddy midday sky as his servant scuttled forward, opening a parasol over Trusting and his distinguished guest. Ashfalls weren't that uncommon in the final empire, but Trusting had hoped to avoid getting soot stains on his fine new suit and red vest, which had just arrived via canal boat from Luthadel. Fortunately, there wasn't much wind. The parasol would likely be effective. And then it talks about this Lord Trusting person, and there's a thing, and we see a character appear and kind of like talk with some people. By the end of the prologue, there's some chaos that person has caused. Kelsier, who was beginning to become a another character, but this is like his little prologue that kind of kicks things off. Um, I don't know how, but it definitely sets a tone.
Yeah.
Um, Here is the first chapter or the first page. We got another one of these little, like I said, most of his start with a little thing.
Okay.
We'll read that too. I consider myself to be a man of principle, but what man does not? Even the cutthroat, I have noticed, believes his actions to be moral after a fashion. Perhaps another person, reading of my life, would name me a religious tyrant. He would call me arrogant. What is it to make that man's opinion any less valid than my own? I guess it all comes down to one fact. In the end, I'm the one with the armies. And then the chapter starts.
Mm-hmm.
Ash fell from the sky. Vin watched the downy flakes drift through the air, leisurely, careless, free. The puffs of soot fell like black snowflakes, descending upon the dark city of Luthadel. They drifted in corners, blowing in the breeze and curling in tiny whirlwinds over the cobblestones. They seemed so uncaring. What would that be like? Vin sat quietly in one of the crew's watch holes, a hidden alcove built into the bricks on the side of the safe house. From within it, a crew member could watch the street for signs of danger. Vin wasn't on duty. The watch hole was simply one of the few places where she could find solitude. And Vin likes solitude. When you're alone, no one can betray you, in italics. Reen's words. Her brother had taught her so many things, then had reinforced them by doing what he'd always promised he would, by betraying her himself. It's the only way you'll learn. Anyone will betray you, Vin. Anyone. The ash continued to fall. Sometimes Vin imagined like she was like the ash, or the wind, or the mist. A thing without thought, capable of simply being, not thinking, caring, or hurting. Then she could be free. She heard shuffling a short distance away, and then the trapdoor at the back of the small chamber snapped open.
Well, now I gotta buy this book.
Yeah, it's no, it's so good. You,
I
I think,
mean,
like I said, Mistborn is it's definitely a classic. And there's yeah, a lot of things you said you like. I've realized that Mistborn has a lot of them.
I
Yeah.
might be
Plus,
best.
it's like you're in this genre.
Yeah,
Like this is your
that
genre. You got
that
to study it.
that might be a best friend's first page. Like an organically, you just saw it happen. Be like, I want this.
You're like actually, it's
I
in
was
real
a
life. You're
little,
like, I want
and
to
I
read
was a
this.
little skeptical with the first epitaph. before the prologue where I was like, I just said I don't want a Neo situation, a chosen one. I don't care if he has doubts. And then the more that you read, I'm like, no, I need this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you'll be really interested by the religious aspects of it
Yeah.
because you studied religion and stuff. There's really interesting implications and
Yeah.
stuff. And I think so the prologue is a whole thing. It's like 10 pages, but it is a scene. It's not like a myth. It's not like
Okay.
a past. It's like kind of, I think it's like just like 2 weeks before the thing starts or like a month.
Okay.
It's like in the time period. So it's really just like a different character's POV than the
Okay.
main character. And the Ash is really interesting,
The main character
and
is female?
yeah, Vin.
I did not know that. I thought the main character was going to be male in a
Uh,
male authored book.
no, no, no. Yeah, Vin is. I think I know he has another one that he wrote for his little sister originally. It wasn't supposed to be published. I think that's Trust of the Emerald Sea.
Mhm.
That was another female main character. I think his other books are, but this one is a woman.
The my brother told me that everyone would betray you and then he betrayed me. Pff, best friends, I'm here for it.
Hmm.
That's it. I'm done. You've got me,
Yes.
Mr.
And
Sanderson.
she's sitting in a little like hidey hole situation in like a crew hideout. So it's this is what you think about when you have to sit by yourself in silence. You look at
Yeah.
the freaking landscape and you think, what the fuck is my life?
Yeah.
And so I think it's really well done.
So do I.
That kind of made me like, yeah, that's book really is really good. Okay.
We don't have anything in D tier.
I know. I should have known that it was going to be like that. I do think people work really hard on their first pages. So I
Yeah.
think it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll try to think of one, but for now, let's jump to our last one, which is Red Rising. Another one you have not read, the one
Yeah,
that
because
I
I'm really
just
weary of
recently
reading
read.
about Mars.
That I didn't know it was about Mars, so I didn't have any hangups there. Um, that's funny. Okay, here's a map if you're interested.
Okay.
So it's not maybe not what you'd expect. Um, wow, that would give a lot away maybe if I had looked at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a huge spoiler or anything. It's like
Yeah.
but it would be a spoiler to me who doesn't read the back of a book at
Got
all.
it.
Um, okay, so we get this little part one,
Okay. Oh,
slave.
okay.
Here's the little
That's how you know my
note.
rating because I just went, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I see one word and I'm interested. Uh, and it's the
Okay.
worst word ever. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. There is a flower that grows on Mars. It is red and harsh and fit for our soil. It is called Hemanthus. It means blood blossom. That's the little note there. And then he names his chapters, which I
Oh,
kind of like. I feel like I don't see that very often.
yeah.
Um, and so here's chapter one. Is it chapter one? I thought there was like a prologue to this. Hold on. There is a prologue. It has no title, nothing. But it's right before that blood blossom line. Let me just maybe can I just read that part too?
Yeah.
I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. I watched 1,200 of their strongest sons and daughters listening to a pitiless golden man speak between great marble pillars, listening to the beast who brought the flame that gnaws at my heart. All men are not created equal, he declares, tall, imperious, and eagle of a man. The weak have deceived you. They would say the meek should inherit the earth, that the strong should nurture the gentle. This is the noble lie of democracy, the cancer that poisoned mankind. His eyes pierced the gathered students. You and I are gold. We are the end of the evolutionary line. We tower above the flesh heap of man, shepherding the lesser colors. You have inherited this legacy, he pauses, studying faces in the assembly, but it is not free. Power must be claimed, wealth won. Rule, dominion, empire purchased with blood. You scarless children deserve nothing. You do not know pain. You do not know what your forefathers sacrificed to place you on these heights. But soon you will. Soon we will teach you why gold rules mankind. And I promise of those among you, only those fit for power will survive. But I am no gold. I am a red. He thinks men like me weak. He thinks me dumb, feeble, subhuman. I was not raised in palaces. I did not ride horses through meadows and eat meals of hummingbird tongues. I was forged in the bowels of this hard world, sharpened by hate, strengthened by love. He is wrong. None of them will survive. Then we get slave.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's a really strong start?
Yep.
The hummingbird tongues in particular, I'm like, that, holy shit. Okay, and then chapter 1 is called Helldiver. The first thing you should know about me is that I am my father's son. And when they came for him, I did as he asked. I did not cry, not when the society televised the arrest, not when the Golds tried him, not when the Greys hanged him. Mother hit me for that. My brother Kieran was supposed to be the stoic one. He was the elder, I the younger. I was supposed to cry. Instead, Kieran bawled like a girl, and when little Io tucked a hemanthus into father's left work boot and ran back to her own father's side, my sister Leanna murmured a lament beside me. I just watched and thought it was a shame that he died dancing but without his dancing shoes. On Mars there is not much gravity, so you have to pull the feet to break the neck. They let the loved ones do it. I smell my own stink
Fuck.
inside the fry suit.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. So that's like this little thing, and then here like the
Yeah.
act starts. I smell my own stink inside my fry suit. This suit is some kind of nanoplastic and as hot as its name suggests. It insulates me toe to head. Nothing gets worse. Nothing gets in. Nothing gets out. Especially not the heat. Worst part is you can't wipe the sweat from your eyes. Bloody damn stings as it goes through the headband to puddle at the heels. Not to mention the stink when you piss, which you always do. And then it goes on. Less interested in that one?
No.
Okay.
Possibly more interested because of all I hear. Oh my goodness, I'm such a religious studies major. There are so many religious
Mm-hmm.
invocations in that. So many.
Yeah.
I was like, that is an indictment on our own world.
100%. It
100%.
is in the future of our world.
Yeah, like that is an indictment on where we're at and where we're going. The all the connotations of that, like Judeo Christian analogies. I was my father's son.
Oh yeah.
The meek will inherit the earth. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah. Wow. The what got me was the you have to pull the feet down to break the neck.
I know. And they let the loved ones do it. Holy fucking shit. When I read that, I was like, I made Caleb read it. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, and I was like, and see, here's the great thing. That kind of exposition, it is exposition. It tells you about the world, but only through implication. And you
Yeah.
get a lot of implication. You immediately, even if you don't consciously think it, you're going, this is a world where death by hanging is so normalized that there are systems, that there's, what is it called?
That death
Social norms
yeah.
about
Not only
like
are there
hanging your family members.
not only are there social norms, but having the small context that we're in a place where gravity is different. So not only are there social norms, but there's things that have been changed specifically for the limitations that the place that you're currently at had on a tradition that was the norm in a on a different planet.
Yeah.
That like here's what like hanging is a norm in on earth, and then we took that norm to this place and there was a hiccup in that norm and we created new norms to fight the hiccup for the what.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so fucking
Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
well shit,
gobbled
now
that
I
book up
have
and
two
read it
books
real
that I need
fast.
to read.
Yeah. Um I'd say Red Rising was probably a faster read.
Okay.
Uh in terms of just like I just could not really put it down.
Yeah,
So I don't know. But I'm like this is the book that I read 200 pages of like last night.
I think I might be okay now that we've put these on here. I think I might be okay with shifting a few things around though.
Okay. Oh wait, so are we putting this Red Rising in the top tier?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of think we have to too. Okay, so where are we shifting?
So I think now that I know what is the possibility of a best friend, I think things need to shift. So I think Crescent
Okay.
City needs to go down to a huh.
Okay. Because we changed that from DNF to huh. So it's not like I'm not gonna read this. It's
Yeah.
like, what you
Okay.
doing, girl?
Yeah. That
Okay.
means that Moon Hatch goes down to forgettable.
Okay.
for
Yeah,
two.
because I mean, I think the most redeeming thing is the little parchment marks.
Yeah.
When I hear the like the yeah, it's too telly with the
Yeah.
the clipped and stuff. Yeah.
So then Akatar and Fourth Wing go down to veggies,
Okay, so
which
you
makes
think those are
sense. They
still in the
feel
same
good.
tier?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like they're
Okay.
still upper tier. They're still good. I still love them, and I will still choose them over a donut sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I think the things that shift are Throne of Glass goes to oh okay,
Okay. True.
and Curse of Shadow and Thorns goes to oh okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have Broadbent, Sanderson, and Red Rising in the top tiers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I think that's what our tier list actually is.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, hold
And don't get
on.
me wrong, the okay, I'm here for it. I'm gonna love those books. I'm gonna read
Yeah.
them over and over again, and I'm gonna buy the physical copies and maybe more than one physical copy. Um,
Yeah.
sure, but yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
that first
I did forget
page
how
best friend, I'm okay with it taking more than one page to be best friends with Selena and
yeah.
Elise. I'm good with that.
I think so too. Yeah.
Keep reading.
Keep writing.
See you next
See
week.
you next